All right, it's time for the Star Goddess podcast on the Crash and AJ blog at 98rock.com. We do this on Mondays, and we get a little, a heads up on what to expect according to Star Goddess's, her forecast.
Yeah,
if you will.
Insight over the past week. And we dive into all 12 signs with this, and it's a bitter, a further expansion compared to what you can hear on the show. But we also get to expand upon a lot of other things, like just off the mic before we started recording this. Janet, you had some incredible stats when it came to the Olympics, which just wrapped up yesterday. We had the closing ceremony. What were you just saying?
I took a look at just the gold medal winners because I found 25 individual gold medal winners, and I wanted to see if there were any common denominators. It's a safe bet if you're in a bar and there are more than 17 people in a room. It's a safe bet that two people are going to be born on the same day in the same month. And so we have 25 Olympic gold medal winners, and two were born on June 2nd, which I think is kind of crazy. 365 days of the year, two guys getting gold are born on June 2nd. And the other thing was, again, these 25 individual gold medal winners. Again, 12 signs in the zodiac. You would think it would be evenly represented. Not a single Aries on the podium.
What?
Not a single Aquarian on the podium. But we had 6 Pisces and 6 Geminis. And the reason that's interesting is that the eclipse cycle is in Gemini, and that Jupiter, the planet of luck and abundance that goes into a sign every 12 years, went into Pisces in May. And during these Olympics, Jupiter was actually in Pisces.
Oh,
so
wow.
How crazy is that?
Yeah, so it's not necessarily because of this sign, like stack your team up with a bunch of Geminis. Like it was just because of where things were within the cycles and, commonalities.
I think it's because of where things were in a cycle. These Geminis got picked.
Yeah.
And to shine. And we also saw it because again, that eclipse cycle in Gemini with the World Series for softball. Both of the coaches in the final game were Geminis.
Wow.
So it's sort of like the stars impel, they don't compel, but they provide the energy. And if you're willing to step up and take advantage of it, you can make stuff happen in your life. That's the free will thing.
And that's why this podcast is so valuable, because people can actually, on demand, grab it and check out what their week's going to look like or their month or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, a little bit of a heads up of what you can do with that particular sense. Because the energy in astrology is neutral. It's not positive. It's not negative. It's simply the energy is. And then through the way we choose, through our God-given act of free will, we choose to direct it is what makes it positive or negative. So...
Star Goddess, I know it's my birthday week, and I was just, for craps and giggles, I checked out who I share a birthday with. I was like, which one really kind of connect myself to?
Oh, which one?
Tyson Fury.
All right.
The boxer. We have the same birthday. I was like, all right.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, yeah. So he's, if you've ever seen this guy fight, Star Goddess? This guy
I have.
Put on a show. This guy puts on a show. He's like a pro wrestler getting ready to put on a show, except he does it in a good way, kind of like Conor McGregor should have done. Except this guy kind of does it right now. But it was pretty interesting when I saw that, and so
funny.
I'm interested to see what my week looks like.
Actually, we can start with that because that's the sign we're in, is the sign of Leo. So for Leos, Mars is in Virgo. They're fixing, and we have 2 things we have 3 things going on this week. We had a new moon in Leo yesterday, which means new starts all the way across the board for Leos. It's the beginning of their new solar year, so they should be feeling pretty empowered, pretty fired up.
Okay.
Mercury, the planet of communication, has just gone into Virgo, which is your second house of money. And so Mars has been in Virgo for over a week now, indicating that there is action or activity that you are taking about making more money.
I like the action.
Well, this week with Venus, with Mercury going into Virgo, joining that Mars, you should get some information about how successful you're going to be with that or not.
Nice.
Which is kind of a good thing. So when Mars goes into sign, this says, okay, for the next 6 weeks, this is where we're going to be putting forth a Herculean effort to make something happen. And when Mercury goes into that sign is when you learn whether or not you're going to be successful with it. So I think it's a good opportunity for you to make more money, sir, if you had to ask me. That's what I think it's going to be.
I have actually, this might be too much information, but my nipples are kind of actually
Ew.
getting a little turkey from
Producer
that.
X, can you mute the mic there for a minute?
Yeah, no.
You guys
Do you
want to see them?
happen to have the Men in Black little taser
Guys,
that
I'm
can free our
uncomfortable
minds
right
here,
now.
too?
Oh, man.
I mean, it's really very good energy. And the other thing for you, Crash, knowing, what you went through earlier in the year, with the new moon in your sign should make you feel, I might not be 100%, but I'm definitely at 90-something%.
Right.
Which is a really cool thing. And it's when it's your psyche, not just your physical body,
Absolutely.
but your psyche is finally healed.
And that's
that's
a
the
psychological
most important
toll that's unsaid, but man, talk about stuff messing with your head. I've never been so
Oh,
heady in my
yeah.
entire life as I've been since March. I can promise you that.
Yeah. But that stuff should really be waning now.
Yeah.
The psychological stuff should be waning now, and you should be feeling in your head that you're whole. And once you're whole in your head, your body goes, oh, okay. Now I see what you mean. So I think that's great energy all the way across the board for Leah. So I gotta like that. Nothing wrong there. Right. Just don't spend too much money. That's the only caveat when Mars is.
I'm probably the cheapest Leo I promise.
Yeah, but I'm guessing you're going to treat yourself to something nice.
Treat yourself. Yeah, I got to treat my son's
birthday. Treat yourself
birthday.
to something nice. Yeah. Actually, buy him something that you would enjoy.
Yeah, that works. I think we're going to
buy him lessons with Dad.
I was going to say you can buy him something that you guys. It would be nice to buy him something that you guys could do together that he thinks that he could beat you at.
I know we're both looking at the PS5 right now. We're like going,
yeah. Ooh,
I still
all
can't
for
get
it. That's
over
a great
your
gift.
being hard. Sorry.
Yeah, I can see.
Sorry.
That would do it right there. That would absolutely do it. So, for Virgos, Mars is in our sign, and I hate it when Mars is in our sign because everybody yells at you. Ask Ron DeSantis how he feels about that right about now. Because Mars in your sign means everybody's going you, and you have to defend the course of action that you've taken. So, and it's a good time to take a look. And for Virgos in particular, they need to listen to what younger people have to say because Mercury to me always says younger.
Okay.
And so Virgos everywhere, if you have younger people saying, you should do this, you should that, or conversely, you shouldn't do this or you shouldn't do that, you really need to take that stuff under advisement, Virgos, and listen to what they have to say because otherwise people are going to yell at you for 6 weeks.
Okay.
So, and I had to laugh because it was like, okay, we're going to mandate, no masks. Schools aren't allowed to do masks. So now they're saying, okay, no, we're not going to have that. And he's going to have to defend it. And I think people are suing him over it. So Virgos everywhere have to be really careful with the stands that they take and make sure that they've got actually a leg to stand on before they jump up on that. Because Mars in your sign means you are just putting a target right on your back and saying, sure, take a shot at me. Mm. So I'm hiding.
I wouldn't want to be customer service for the governor right now. I can promise you that.
Oh, can you imagine? Holy mackerel, good Lord. Or any Virgo.
Yeah, exactly.
In the medical field is in the same way. Because I think Virgo rules doctors and hospitals, and then the sixth house, Virgo rules health and medicine. So I think that they are also, which is part of why you're seeing this huge surge in the coronavirus. Mm-hmm. And people say, well, when's it going to end? It's like, I'm not going to lie to you. It's not going to end until the middle of September. That's how long Mars is in Virgo for. So, after that, I think it gets a little bit easier. But for Virgos everywhere, make sure that when you're making a stand that you've got a leg to stand on is the biggest thing for Virgos. So, and we only had one Virgo Olympian.
I saw that.
And that was a surfer.
She kicked ass, though. That was a good
She
representation
did.
right there.
She absolutely did. You have to like that. For Libras, this energy, I think of all the signs of the zodiac, Libras really struggle with this energy because when Mars is behind the sign, you just don't make good decisions. And Libras weigh everything out. They
Florida or not Florida or something like that. You make a bad decision,
yes,
Libras.
Yes,
you got to look for Libras in Florida, not Florida.
Yes, easily could be. And the trick with that is that Libras, you will shoot yourself in the foot. That's the problem. And it's the details that'll trip the Libra up. So whatever Libras are doing, they have to be really careful to make sure that their details are straight.
Gotcha.
And if they could, if I was a Libra more often than not over the next 2 or 3 weeks or so, I just say, I will take that under advisement and let you know what I think about it later on, rather than trying to make a snap decision with it, because they're likely to do themselves in and talk themselves out of something.
Give yourself some time. You're saying if you're a Libra, you got to give yourself some time to reply.
Yeah, yes, to think about what that outcome is going to be, how it's going to impact you, and to try and avoid knee-jerk kind of reactions, that kind of a deal. So I'm not sure if they're capable of doing that, but they're going to need to be.
Yeah.
And whatever they think they're going to get away with, I can promise you, Libra, you're not going to get away with it. You're going to get caught.
Wow.
So somebody young is going to rat you out.
Okay.
That's the thing. somebody younger is going to rack you out.
I'm younger than
you
all
gotta be-
y'all.
Yeah, but you're not a Libra.
No,
You're
I'm
like
not.
the
You're
rest
right.
of
I'm
us
not.
here. Okay, thank God. For Scorpios, this energy for Scorpios is achieving a long-standing hope, wish, goal, objective, dream. All of that comes into play for Scorpios. And it's going to be the help of their well-placed female friends that help them get that. I can't help but look at the greatest Olympian now of all time, that chick, the
Felix.
36-year-old
Yeah.
one. The one who now has 11 gold medals, and she wants them individually and wants them with the team. So,
Felix
and
with
I
the
just-
track,
I-
yeah, it was
Allyson.
awesome.
Yeah,
Allyson Felix, yep.
and God bless her. You know, my favorite quote about her is Nike said, "Well, we're not going to pay you as much, because you're pregnant, and you're going to lose out
She
on
changed
stuff."
the
And
game.
She said, "Great." Yeah, and as a Scorpio, she said, "Okay, none of that anymore," and created her own line of shoes.
Yeah, which is doing really well, by the way.
You go, girl.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what's up.
If I
Don't
had
tell
a
me what
choice-
I can and can't do.
Yeah, if somebody treated me like that, and as an athlete, if I had a choice whose sneakers I was going to buy, I would buy hers.
Oh, totally.
Whether I ran in her event or not, I would still buy hers for that
Dude,
very
what a-
reason. So,
What a douche
You know,
canoe
for
move
Scorpio-
right there. What
What?
the hell were they thinking in that? What a douche canoe move right there.
I think that
saying
was probably
stuff
something
there.
that
Like,
was
what?
that was probably in effect. That law was probably in effect for like when the first Greek Olympics were happening, and they probably went, "Oh, probably need to take that out now that this happened." But that was a great move.
yeah, and
she
hopefully they're a lot
monopolized on
more
it.
woke about it, because she should have really embarrassed them. Because
Yeah.
here we are talking about it, And
Yeah.
I just think, and I love that it's a group effort for her. She didn't just say, "Oh, I'm the star." She talked about the people that helped support her to help get there. So for Scorpios everywhere, it's pretty good energy for them. And Joe Biden will be happy to hear that too, I would think. For Sagittarians, this energy is in the 10th house of career and public standing. The biggest challenge for Sagittarians is to stay out of the line of fire, because they're not likely to be gunning for the Sagittarian. They're likely to be gunning for somebody above the Sagittarian. So the Sagittarians everywhere, I say, don't go to fights unless there's a subpoena with your name on it. That kind of a deal.
So you're not invited to this
And-
fight. You don't go in that
Do
fight.
not go. Exactly. Sagittarians, and they're great at like turning on your heel and just walking away. They're no sign does it better than a Sagittarian. Like, ooh, abruptly, ooh, got to stop, got to zag. Okay, I'm zagging. Is how they are. The good side of that is, though, there's a lot of professional activity going on, and they can cut themselves a pretty good deal as a result of that. So I imagine there'll be some negotiating back and forth.
Okay.
But for Sagittarians everywhere, they should get some sort of word over the next week to 10 days or so about a career matter that's been kind of, I don't want to say weighing on them, but they've kind of been thinking about back and forth, what do I do, what do I do, what do I do? And they get some sort of definitive information this week about what the right thing is for them to do.
Man, I got a little Sag in me. I'm that's my rising sign right there, and you're hitting some
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah. So you got to know what I'm talking about then, right?
I do.
Yes. So,
All right.
a little negotiating, and don't get stuck on a small nitnoy point.
Right.
The nitnoy point is not worth, making a stand over. Look at the bigger picture.
Gotcha.
That's the only caveat with that. With Virgo, you can get into so much into the detail that you don't see. You see the trees rather than the forest. So, for Capricorns, great energy for Capricorns. Legal matters, educational matters, important matters at a distance, all go very, very favorably for the Capricorn. This is their time. The law's on their side. They want to go ahead and use it. And I think somebody reaches out to them from a distance for one reason. And it could be, it looks to me like it's probably a job opportunity. And they need to take that under advisement and think about maybe they may want to do that or not. They may want to not pull the trigger right away, but they should at least entertain a variety of different offers for career advancement.
Remind me of the month for Capricorn. Start
Capricorn runs from December 21st or so to January 19th.
Gotcha. All right.
The end of the year kind of thing. And a lot of them are very happy where they're at because they just got to where they're at about a year and a half ago.
Mm-hmm.
So they want to listen to what somebody else has to say. And they may not pull the trigger right away. They may not pull the trigger till next year. But it's worth their while to open up that dialogue to see where it ends up. So you have to like that. For Aquarians, this energy for Aquarians is interesting energy because Jupiter is in their sign, Saturn is in their sign. There is something that they have been afraid of, and they find out that it's not as bad as they thought it was going to be. It's not as serious as they thought it was going to be. And if they look at it in the light of day, it won't scare them as much as it did before. I'm not quite, and I know that's not making any sense unless you're an Aquarian. But for them, they find a way to face their fears, or they end up with a solution to their fear.
I can definitely relate being afraid of something and really anticipating the worst, and all of a sudden not getting that little softball instead. You know what I mean? It's that's a good feeling, actually.
Yeah, I would rather anticipate the worst and then go, oh, my gosh,
right.
it wasn't that bad, than have a Pollyanna attitude and go, oh, this won't happen to me, and then get blindsided.
Yeah.
And the big, anxiety comes from you're afraid something's going to happen. You don't know when it's going to happen. You don't know how bad it's going to be. So my job, what I like to do is then look at what's the worst possible thing that can happen, and then what would I do about it if that happened? It's like, okay, I'm a Virgo. We end up being widows. It's like, man, that's going to blow being a widow with this little 2-year-old kid. So I can't change that because I tried, because my husband wasn't getting out of the military for anybody. I thought, well, okay, if that's going to happen, I need some insurance. If I can't change it,
Right.
Yeah.
and he was, so did I want that to happen? No. And when it did finally happen, it was like, damn it, I knew it, but at least I'm not broke.
Yeah.
I also said, you want to tell me which one of your friends you want me to marry? That went over pretty big. But for Aquarians everywhere, they get to face their fears and come up with a plan to deal with them, which is the important thing.
I was just thinking of a daily nugget that came up with that. If you have a sweating problem, the best deodorant, preparation.
Yes.
Hey.
Yes, that's very true.
Yeah.
Rather than sticking in my head in the sand and going, oh, I don't want to think about it. It's like, that's what I want to think about till I can, see my way clear to work through it. And then if it doesn't happen, hooray. But if it does happen, it's like, okay, I'm prepared. Mm-hmm. It's sort of like, are those 2 hurricanes going to hit here? No, they aren't. They're not going to impact us. But do I have 2 generators and 2 air conditioners in my garage? You betcha. In boxes, and I don't care if I never open them, but if the day comes when I need a generator, I don't want to have to go beat somebody up at Walmart to get one. I want to be able to go in my garage and go, oh, here you are. That kind of a deal. If I can't change it, I want to ameliorate the impact on me. For Pisces, everybody also is yelling at Pisces. But these are the Pisces, and Pisces are in the spotlight for one. And Simone Biles is my favorite Pisces for this. Everybody in the world was yelling at her, saying, why are you quitting it? It's like, and to me, and I have to say this as a coach, I would, if I have a team and I have a player on my team that knows they're going to bring my team down, even if they're my star pitcher, I need to know that before I start them in the game.
Yep.
I don't want to have to pull them in the middle of the game and go, wow, you've cost us this game. I would rather go, okay, thanks for that heads up.
Yeah, exactly.
Let me put my other pitcher in. And that's what Simone Biles did. But everybody is yelling at her, pointing fingers at her and saying all kinds of stuff. And
there's so many storylines in her life as well. I don't know if you guys know the story about her brother. Her brother was in a murder trial recently.
Oh my God!
So there's she's got all kinds of stuff going on,
so to speak, and a lot of different things.
Wow!
But, it was so infuriating to see so many people, and they have no idea. You're bashing her for something that could paralyze her, seriously injure her, not only bring down the rest of the team. For what? It's something you don't even know about.
All kinds of implications there. Yeah,
exactly.
Get the hell out of here. What for your 3 seconds of woo? Get out of here.
Yeah, and she's got 1 million gold medals. We should need another one for her. So I have to admire her for having the courage to say, I am the ultimate team player by taking myself out and giving somebody else a chance who could win gold, who, by the way, did win gold.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you have to look back and go, that was really, to me, out of all of the decisions that I've read about in the Olympics, to me, that was the hardest one to make and the most class act, and allowed the other Pisces on that team, Sonny Lee,
oh, wow,
the opportunity to win. Yeah.
Look at that. I didn't even know that.
Those guys are only 2 days apart. Yeah.
So Star got a stat right there.
Yeah. Yeah, those guys are only 2 days apart. They're both born in Pisces. Simone Biles is the 14th, and Suni Lee is the 9th. So,
Yeah.
and that gives her, I think that's the classiest act of all. They were born in different years.
Yeah.
But still, that's the classiest act of all to me. So Pisces everywhere are going, so the spotlight's on us, and people are yelling at us, and I don't understand why. We haven't done anything really wrong. So for Pisces everywhere, the hard thing is just to kind of let it kind of flow through you and just stay on your course. Because at the end of the day, they're going to be remembered for the stuff that they did rather than the stuff that they didn't do.
Pisces is the fish, right? Is it the...
Yeah, Pisces are the fish.
Yeah. And
I had to laugh. So many of the guys that won gold were swimmers were Pisces. Hey, Ledecky is a Pisces.
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of interesting.
Wow.
Who else? Where are my other? Yeah, I know. I just thought that was amazing to me.
There's several men, right?
Chase men too. Chase
Yeah.
Chase Callens is a swimmer, and he's a Pisces too.
Makes
I
sense.
just thought that was really interesting when I was seeing the people that were Pisces. Lydia Jacoby and Chase Callens, both of them Pisces, both won gold medals, both in swimming.
That's
And
pretty
it's
cool.
a water sign.
I guess if you're a coach and you're wanting some kids in your team, you're like, all right, first of all, what's your astrological sign? Pisces, you're in.
Exactly. I did that. Whoa. I did that one time. I picked an entire team of Virgos. I coached softball when I was in a rec league, and I didn't pay attention the first 2 years. The third year, I picked an entire team of Virgos because I knew that if I told them exactly how to do it, they would do it. And this team, we went like 15-3. And the 3 games we lost, we lost 3 games. 1 by 2 runs and the other 2 by 1 run. Because they were all Virgos, and I was a Virgo. So, yeah, I will pick player, and I will pass on a player. I will pass on a Cancer player in a heartbeat.
I wish I had some film of Star Goddess coaching a softball team. I'd love to see that right there. I'd be like just in the dugout being a fly on the wall.
Her on third base, just sending someone home.
Nope, not me. Nope. I'm a Virgo. I'm the first base coach.
Okay,
Okay.
gotcha.
I do not have the vision to be
Star
the third
Goddess
base
loves
coach.
first base.
I love it because if my kids hit, I'm the winner, and if they don't hit, it's like, hey, third base, you could have sent that runner. You could have converted a run.
Gotcha.
For Aries, this energy is in the 6th house of work, health, and responsibilities. And for Aries, they really genuinely, they find out this week something about a job. It may not start right away, but they find out that they're definitely being recruited or looked at for a job that'll probably come to be after October. And they're getting very favorable looks about it. So there should be some dialogue back and forth for Aries everywhere about new jobs, new starts, or improvements to their existing job. It's hard to tell. It looks a lot alike to me.
Mm-hmm.
But isn't your daughter an Aries, Crash?
Yes, I was just about to say. So I need to pass this information on her. She definitely will check this podcast out. So that's one of those things that when you get that sign that pops, that light bulb in the sign, you can connect the sign to my daughter. In that case, I'm like, wow, this makes all the sense in the world.
And you just want her to be receptive.
Yeah.
Because it's the kind of thing. A lot of times, jobs like that will start with, hey, if you're ever interested in doing something, let me know. And a lot of times you just kind of blow that off. But if you know that that's a sign that you should be you should be receptive to it, you can make a note of it. You can get back with them. You can say, okay, let's talk about that a little bit and plant that seed that will come to fruition probably in the December and January time span.
All right, Morgan, you listen to Star Goddess here, all right? Because I'm going to tell you to listen to this podcast. Morgan, that's your cue right there.
Yeah.
All right.
And she's going to do really well with that.
Awesome.
Because Mars in your 6th house says, this is a job I can do for at least 2 to 4 years before I decide I want to, move on a little bit. So, and the other thing for Aries is they have health issues that they're dealing with.
Mm-hmm.
And those health issues are not as bad as they're afraid that it is.
Okay.
Is the other thing with them.
All right.
So,
awesome.
I'm a big fan of getting second and third opinions and that kind of a deal. So for Aries everywhere, that's what they're interested in. For Tauruses, AJ goes, I can't wait. And it's interesting, AJ, you're back to work, kind of a deal.
Mm-hmm.
Health issues are pretty much resolved, which is that should have started for you last week. But now as a Taurus, you go, what about Taurus? This is the best time for Tauruses. Mars is in their 5th house of love affairs, children, sports, amusements, pleasures, anything fun, anything entertaining. Venus is in there, so their love life goes well. Mercury is in there, so they learn something. They find it's 2 things. They're proud of their children for one reason or another. Children or lovers bring, much smiles to the Taurus. And the Taurus will actually look around by the end of the week and go, this might be as good as it gets.
Wow.
Does that make sense?
I hope not, but hey, I'm definitely open to experiencing good because it's like right after birthday month, everything just went nosedive, and now it did because right after the birthday month was when Mars went into Leo in June. And Leo is awful for Taurus. It's in their 4th house of home, everything. I think the hardest energy is when Mars is at the bottom of your chart, which is what Geminis are going to go through. But for Tauruses everywhere, this is a very creative time for them. It's a very fun time for them. It's a good time for children. It's a good time for love. If you don't have love, it's a good time to find love.
Hey,
if you have love, it's a good time to solidify that relationship. And it's a very fertile time for Tauruses.
Careful now.
Hey now.
Yeah.
But is that physically and mentally as well?
That's
like
for,
maybe creating
creatively,
creating ideas too?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, because the
we learn
creative
stuff.
principle is that you're creating something that is either a child or a child of your mind, an idea that you give birth to, and then you sort of breathe life into it, kind of a deal. So it depends on where you are in your evolution, whether it's a physical child or whether it's a child of your mind, and sometimes it's both.
Might
You know,
be
it
a time to
depends
break
on
out some
how
oil
creative.
paints, AJ, some canvas and some acrylics and start going at it.
Don't toy with my emotions.
There
I
you
love
go.
that
Let's see it.
stuff.
I
I
wanna see
love
it.
that stuff.
Let's see
I'm a
that
very
creativity.
creative person. That, oh man, I don't take me into Michael's because I will blow my check there.
Well, you should.
AJ's going to have a whole series of paintings at the end of this month here.
Just make sure they're not pineapples.
Hey now.
Well, no, I haven't gotten. I don't get that joke. What do I not get?
Oh,
about
you want
that?
to give me
Girl, you
pineapples?
missed the
Oh, boy. Here goes the
conversation.
podcast. Podcast is
Hey.
going
Off the
going off the
rails.
rails. All right.
The pineapple is the fruit of the swinger, Janet.
Yeah, we were discussing this last week. We found out that it turns out there's different codes when it comes to swinging, and one of them being pineapples. Apparently, there have been some couples that are wearing matching bathing suits and whatnot with a bunch of pineapples, and then some other couples started coming up and hitting on them. And not only does it mean that, but if you go grocery shopping and if you have a pineapple in your grocery cart and it's upside down,
Party
that
time.
means you're looking for a swinging good time.
Down to clown.
Well, I see. I missed one show. One show I missed listening
Her
to.
eyes are open.
Hey, you
now.
don't want to know.
Hopelessly out of the loop.
You don't want to know what the meat department conversion rate is on that thing. 'cause that gets really crazy then. We can't do that on this podcast.
Sausage
Golly,
links
so-
everywhere.
Which direction? Up, down, sideways? All right.
All right. Good to know. Okay. Good to know. For Gemini, moving right along. Gemini.
Sorry, Gemini.
Sorry, again, as you already know, Taco, with Mars at the fourth house of home. That's why because Virgo squares Gemini, which is it's a discordant energy. The energy doesn't blend very well. With Mars in the fourth house of home, it's all sorts of upsets at home. It's grief and aggravation at home. It's every time you put out one fire, another fire starts kind of deal at home. It's a very challenging energy for Geminis, but they have to realize that they have to clean up the mess that they made.
Ah.
Unfortunately,
She's not wrong. I've been struggling with stuff at home, just like
what? Like
just getting my life together since I moved here. It's like every time I get one thing accomplished, I got 15 more that I got to start doing.
Right.
She's not wrong. She nailed it.
Maybe you need some extended time with Star Guys.
I just need to focus on one task at a time, and that's always been such a hard thing for me.
It's impossible for Geminis. Geminis are ruled by the planet Mercury. They're great at multitasking. They like to have 6, 7 things going on at the same time and do one thing for a while and stop, another thing for a while and stop, another thing for a while and stop, and then go back and pick the first thing up where they left off.
That's
the
me.
trouble with that is, that's every Gemini in the world, which is why you're in radio, why you're in this kind of a business. Because if I hated you, I'd tie your leg to a desk and make you count the same pile of beans over and over again. Geminis would lose their mind. And when a Gemini is done with something, they're done. There's no wind down period. They're like a NiCad battery where it just stops.
Gotcha.
It's just how they are. So for Geminis everywhere, they have another 4 weeks of this. However, my best advice is pick one thing, finish it, and then go on to the next thing.
You know what? I said that to myself actually just yesterday.
Yeah, but they won't do it.
I was building some furniture, and I was like, you got to just focus on one task, man, just one thing at a time.
Yeah.
And so I'm taking that advice from you.
I'm so happy to hear that. It will make your life so much easier and have more value.
Well, if it's a couch, you can invite Star Goddess over, and she can sit down with you, and you can lie on the couch, and you can go over the rest of your.
Make sure it's comfortable. Make sure it's comfortable. So for Geminis everywhere, you got to clean up the mess you made at home and get your home life straightened out. Once that's straightened out, you can do the rest of it, anything you want. So, and I imagine all those Geminis that just won gold medals are going to come home and go, okie dokie, how can I capitalize on this?
Yeah, but what next?
Yeah.
Show me the bag.
But it's very, I got to say, for the sign that's going to be, I think, the most challenged with this energy is probably Gemini.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
Sorry.
For Cancers, this energy is in the third house of day-to-day living. This is great energy for them. They get to move around the place. They learn something very useful about their world. They learn something. It's like this is not like getting a college degree or a master's degree. This is some sort of practical, hands-on information that will help you either do your job better or live your life better or go to school better. But there is an easing in their day-to-day living where it gets down to something they can manage. where they are not overwhelmed, that they have the time to devote to do the things that they need to do, if that makes sense. So, and there may be some short duration travel for them, which would be kind of nice. You have to like that. But the important thing is that, and somebody younger teaches them something that they didn't know that they need to know. So do not discount younger people.
All right.
Do not discount younger people and what they have to say, because there's some information there that they need to have. And when they do that, they'll go, oh, that's what I didn't know, like me and pineapple. Oh, I didn't know that.
There you go.
All right, Janet, I got one question for you. So my birthday is June 20th, and I'm like kind of right on that Gemini and Cancer line. Do you think, do the two mix? Like, am I like part Gemini, part Cancer, since I'm kind of right there? How does that work?
God, I hope not. 1989?
1988.
1988.
She's looking for the book right now.
Because that would be the worst of both worlds.
Yeah, I always felt like I was just right on the line. I kind of just like hop back and forth between the two, which is probably my Gemini, like just jumping around.
You're definitely a Gemini.
Oh,
and,
definitely.
you don't have anything with Cancer.
Congrats.
And I'm going to tell you, if I have a choice between having Gemini energy or Cancer energy, I will take the Gemini energy over the Cancer energy.
I just tell people I'm crazy.
I just felt like I was on Maury Povich right then. She was checking his...
You are not a Cancer. The results are in.
Now, why the Gemini over the Cancer? Is this anything in relation because of your sign and the way you feel towards it, or just
no? I think it's easier to be. I think it's easier to be a Gemini because they're ruled by the planet Mercury. They're very articulate. They have no trouble expressing what they think or what they feel. You never have to look at a Gemini and go, geez, I wonder what they're thinking, because they will tell you. Their first words are, let me tell you something. Is what a Gemini would say. Cancers are a water sign, but they're ruled by a creature that has no vocal cords. So it is harder for them to get their wants and needs met, because instead of saying, this is what I want or this is what I need, they think, oh, if you really love me, needed me, wanted me, cared about me, you know what I want, you know what I need, I wouldn't have to tell you. So that's what makes it quite the challenge for Cancers. They have a difficult time, and then they don't understand why their needs are not being met.
Well, there you go. I'm glad we ended up on a happy note for Producer X over here.
A happy note. So
he's like breathing easier right now.
A little bit, yeah. A little weight's off my shoulder.
Yeah, way rather. And kind of, do you want your? I don't know. And there are crazy Geminis. I mean, Rudy Giuliani's a Gemini.
Oh boy.
There is something to be said about.
We don't claim him.
Geminis. Yeah. Rudy Giuliani, Donald Trump. Yeah, all of them Geminis. Yeah. Kanye West.
Wow. The list goes on there. Interesting.
There's Geminis who are short attention, notorious for a short attention span. Just how they are. Just part of their charm.
That's what all my teachers wrote on my report cards.
Well,
short attention span.
It's a Gemini thing.
It's got to be in radio.
Wow.
It's a Gemini thing.
This one.
So the thing to do is to find a job or a career field where that's valuable, like juggling 5 or 6 different things. You're trying to post stuff to the Facebook page. You're trying to find stuff that we asked for. You're trying to, produce a morning show all at the same time. I, as a Virgo, could not do that. I never even learned how to run a board. I've been in radio for 35 years. I look at that board and my eyes just kind of glaze over. It's like, there are so many switches, and, you've got, Crash, I've been in your studio. You got 2 or 3 screens going at the same time. I don't know
I've been doing it for 30 years. I'll look at this board sometimes and I get glazy eyes.
Yeah, the Gemini goes, hey, no problem. I can balance all this stuff. So.
All right. Well, thank you so much.
Sure.
It's
always a pleasure.
Been a fun pod. We did a little OT today. We even talked about pineapples. This has been awesome. All right. So if you guys want to catch her on the radio with us every Monday morning right here on 98 Rock. And, of course, this is podcast every Monday at 98rock.com.